Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Is muted. Oh, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Disclosure tonight. We've got one heck of a show for you guys here. Yeah, my audio is odd a little bit. Welcome. Yeah, we're still struggling to have a good one, my friends. Thank you very much for letting me know that my microphone is off. I don't know why I turned that off, but apparently I did. And then we've got one heck of a great show. We're going to be starting off here shortly with... we've got some footage of a down drone that we talked about yesterday, and there actually is one that didn't land. It actually came down in a ball of flames. We'll be getting to that shortly. But before we get there, my friends, it's time to go ahead, bring up the drums, and welcome in our audience. Let's go ahead and take a look who we have out there as the audience builds. Would you look at that? We have AJ's here along with Alex A. Angela's around, along with Billy Boo. What a name, Billy Boo. How about that? We got Bradley Swaney's here along with Brian Morgan. Cindy Feelhauler is here. Good to see you. Corporal Abe is in the chat, and he's in the back as well. Thank you for coming here. Crazy Horse is around along with Donald Harris. Firefly is here along with Flostradamus. We've got Jan, Jared, Jason, J-Cat, Jeff, John Barra, John Mooner, or Mooner. Johnny Forrest is here along with Johnny Walker. Yes, we've got Joseph Marino and Kelly Broad and those piercing blue eyes. Yes, I forgot what it was. It was a long show yesterday, folks. A great one. The King of Cardboard's here. But don't tell Moose because he'll want to rip you apart. Clipper's around along with Larry Potter. Leah Patra's around along with Lit Clicker. Little T's here along with Lon. Good to see you, Lon. Michael Dymock is here. Well, who else is out there? Let's take a look. Ms. Cussout is here. He was in the back yesterday. Appreciate you being around, my dear Sandra. Mysterious World is around along with Peggy and her South Florida friends. And YouTube chat just vanished from me for a second. What are we talking about here? Let's get to it. Don't do that. Come on. Play along. Play along nicely. There we go. Participants. Who else do we have out there? I lost my place. Romeo Smith is here along with Rachel Osborne. Reality Check VIP just popped in along with Romeo 7. Sam's here and Shelly Montgomery. Shinobi 1 is around. Shinobi 1 Kenobi. I love the name. Super Unknown's here along with the Great White Phantom popped in. Along with Tony D. Syrup is here. Super Unknown is around. Sam's here. We got Romeo 7. Who else do we have out there? Digger Dog just popped up. Yes, we have Reality Check VIP. Michael Dymock just said hello. Hey, Michael. Good to see you, my friend. Joy is here. Digger Dog just popped around. Anybody else? Nowhere Fast. Good to see you, my friend. In Charlie Vest, you're new as well. Welcome to the show. Bunch of great new people. Cosmo Fang, a long time watcher of the shows here. Oh, we got Shelly Montgomery and Kenny India House, Joe, good to see you, my friend, and Charlie Vest. My God, Carlos Rodriguez just popped around along with John Westcott. We've got Christopher. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming back. Absolutely gray hair discoveries. Amazing what you can find when you look. Billy Boo just showed in. Wow, what a great audience popping up here today. Let's go ahead and pop that down. But it's not just about talking about our friends who are in the chat. No, not that one. Sometimes, friends, it's about talking about our friends who are in the back. Who are we talking about? Let's go ahead and welcome in our dear friend. Let's see. Corporal Abe. How's it going, Corporal Abe?
Pretty good. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope to get some answers soon on what's flying over our homes back in the States.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what it is, my friend, as well. And we also have a viewer who gave us some super chats yesterday. Even today, we've got Alice W. Welcome, Alice. Welcome to the show. Bet she wasn't expecting that. That's all right. Let's move along and see who else we have.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Alice. Thank you for being here. Well, we have our devil's advocate in chief, a good friend of ours who's been around on the show longer than most people have been out there. Let's go ahead and welcome in our dear friend, Greg O'Brien. How's it going, Greg?
Hey, Thomas. You feeling tonight, good sir?
Thank you for coming in. Also in the back, we've got our friend coming from the country where all the U's are silent. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Michael Sokoloff.
How's it going, Thomas?
Pretty good, Michael. Thank you for coming in today, my dear friend. It's always a great day with you here.
You're early today.
Yeah, I want to get done early. I have to get up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning again, and that never happens too late enough. Thank you for reminding me on that one. Also, if we turn the world upside down and shake it and see, would you look at that? We had none of your business popping out of Australia. Good evening, Nanya. How you doing?
Shake it and see what falls out. Here I am.
Yeah, I like that idea. Turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe.
That's it. There's no snow down here, though.
Oh, I know you're lucky on that one. I'll be getting snow here probably in about the next month, at least in the Pacific Northwest. It usually snows around between the 5th and the 9th of January, like clockwork. How about...
You can keep that. I'm allergic to that stuff.
Yeah, I understand. My joints and my bones are also. Yes, Mocha. Welcome to the show, my dear girl. No, you're not getting more cookies, my girl, and not right now. But to start things off, yes, we are not kidding. Yes, there is a drone that came down after last night's show that we got the footage of here. I've got 2 video streams of it popping up at this point. What am I talking about? Well, there you go. Let's go ahead and hear the first audio clip.
A lot of smoke and fire. We're on the highway, and out in the distance, we see all these lights going off.
Yeah, lights going off, and then second audio clip coming in.
The field's on fire. There was like a craft that crashed out of the sky. It was crazy. The field's on fire.
So
there was like a craft that crashed out of the...
Now, someone who we have on the show right now is familiar with kind of aircraft crashes and such. Corporal Abe, who used to be in the military. One of the things you brought out yesterday was pointing out the different colors of the burning wreckage that happened. Do you want to explain some info on that for us?
Yeah, when I got out of the military, I also became a civilian firefighter. And, different colors of smoke mean different things, right? So it's nighttime, and what we can see here is like really bright fire and white smoke. And some of it looks like it's almost bluish and greenish a little bit over there. That's a little indicative of maybe there's some type of metals, special types of metals burning, an aircraft fire. I've fought aircraft fires before, and the smoke does come out different colors because of different types of materials. So yeah, that's it's pretty interesting to see this. And then we're seeing 2 different views here that you got set up.
Yeah, if I actually flip them around, put this one on the left, this one on the right, that's what you're kind of seeing. This is on the right side of the scene where there's some wreckage, and on the left side of the scene, you can see that there's definitely that kind of an aircraft now that came down. Now, one of the things, actually, before we get to this, if I could, Corporal Abe, I have to do some business here. I want to thank some members of the show or some viewers for giving us some super chats. First off, I want to go ahead and thank Shelly Montgomery for the first super chat tonight, saying DT is a place to be for Disclosure tonight, of course. Go, Thomas, go. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you very much, Shelly. Also, from Matthias Wolkenstein, forced disclosure by NHI is happening, and it could be, you never know, we could be dealing with things that are being brought in that are disguised to look like our craft, and guess what? It may be a non-human craft, but there's one of many possible scenarios that we're talking about that it could be tonight. Also want to thank Firefly for the $20 Australian super chat. Thank you very much. Rachel Osborne, thank you very much for starting off with another $2 super chat. And Crazy Horse, how about that? Got to love and support of everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. And back to let me go ahead and shut that music down. And sorry about that brief interruption, Corporal Abe. But yeah, this is just interesting. You know, when we have these kind of craft, they've said they're the size of an SUV. There is an interesting payload that they could potentially be covering. A lot of that is probably fuel, considering how many hours these things are going up for. Now, it was reported that there were, again, 50 to 60 of these drones that were flying around in the New Jersey area yesterday.
That's correct. 50 to 60. That's a lot, you know, and that takes coordination. You know, that sounds like it would take a lot of people to get that many aircraft up, especially that size, to maintain that. So I'm not surprised that they're starting to crash because, you know, they've been doing this, what, for now 2 weeks? So
no, they've been doing this since the 18th. It's been well over 3 weeks at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So that takes a lot to maintain any type of aircraft, right? So maybe we'll see more crashing, hopefully not, or hopefully I don't know. It's just, this is such a weird situation.
It is. You know, the biggest thing, what we've been hearing before we get to, there are so many new news clips that have coming in from the news agencies for us to go ahead and get to today. You know, we just have to look at this and wonder, where is it coming from? Is it coming from China? Is it coming from the United States to blame it on China for the one last volley of the Biden administration to get us brought into World War III? Or again, like I said earlier, could it be potentially from a non-human intelligence coming out with craft that are disguised to look like ours, but they're really not?
It takes a lot of coordination to do this all over the world. And we're seeing it not just in the UK, not just in the United States, but multiple countries are having similar incidents like this. So whoever's got it's got a lot of money and a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah, and it is a lot of money, because if you have 50 to 60 of these things, we're not talking about one-offs. We're talking about a regular factory and production line, you know, kind of like something Elon Musk would have. But I don't think these are from Elon. There's definitely something going on here. We've got some larger governmental organization potentially who's pulling it off.
Elon has too many kids to be wasting time doing this. You know, this person, whoever, if it is a person doing it, they have no time, no life, no wife. So, you know, I don't know. Yeah, something's going on.
Absolutely. Greg O'Brien, you have your hand up, my friend.
I think we can pretty much roll out non-human craft, because I don't think non-human craft would be smoking or even carrying any kind of fuel like that if it were to crash. I think it would just be smoke. You know, all the UFO crashes we heard of, we never heard of fire or smoke coming from it, I believe.
Good point, Greg. I'll have to back you up on that one, because if it was a non-human intelligence and they were using breakaway technologies like we've talked about for the last several nights, they probably wouldn't be having, like you said, fuel fires and this kind of stuff burning up when the little drone comes down.
Yep.
None of your business. You have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking the FBI is involved, but you know, you'd think there'd be, with that many aircraft up and in that many areas around the world, then you'd think there'd be some sort of chatter that they'd be picking up on. But you know, are they picking up on any chatter or what? Because
no, the only chatter we've got recorded so far is there's been more issues with emergency personnel not being able to go ahead and land helicopters. In the last report we've got, there was an incident yesterday that took place where there were like 5 or 6 drones that were blocking helicopters from the local hospitals from coming in and landing again.
Yeah, see, that's really bad.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Now, if I can, I've got a picture here that I was talking about. Now, there are some good videos out there. You know, this is one that I want to show. This is a picture that was taken from a resident in the New Jersey area who took a shot from the ground looking up of one of these craft with a regular, you know, cell phone camera at this point. But the most interesting thing about it is, you know, these craft are about the size of, again, of like an SUV. Let's call it like a Chevy Suburban or GM Tahoe for that matter, or a Cadillac Escalade, decent sized SUV. This here, its profile, really looks like something similar that would be to a 737. Would you agree on that, Abe?
Sorry for the delay. Yes, I do agree. That does look like a normal civilian airliner.
Right. Now, some different things that are noticeable about it is you've got two marker lights on the side. This one looks like it was red going to white, and the other one that's going to green on this side. If this was truly a if you want to call it airliner of some sort, some kind of an aircraft that's registered with the FAA, this one would stay constantly red. This one would stay constantly green, and you would get an alternating flashing light from the bottom wing to the top wing, back and forth. But that's not what we're seeing here, is it, Abe?
That's correct. And you got these red lights on the sides. That's not. We don't do that. And internationally, where I am now, the aircraft don't use that configuration.
No.
FAA regulations are FAA regulations internationally, so we can identify aircraft with these red lights, we can't identify.
But what we're looking at from the overall shape, they call this the morphology of the craft. They are definitely trying to make it look like it's one of our usuals that are up there, but they're really low. They're like a couple 100 feet in the air in some instances. And it's, well, it sounds like, you know, not quite like a Cessna, not like a helicopter, but when you have 50 to 60 of these things out there, this is a major operation of what's going on.
At first glance, I would have thought that was a civilian airliner, but if it's not coming, especially in that area, I'm from Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and the traffic pattern for air traffic follows a specific route and it has for years because of the airports. And if these things are coming out of the traffic pattern, low, in a formation, 50 to 60, this is scaring a lot of people. It's scaring my family. It's scaring my friends. So.
It's terrorizing the public, and that's why we put this out there as a title tonight, because as we start getting into the news stories coming in from major media out there, it's definitely, you know, our governors don't know what it is. The mayors don't know what it is. They're not getting an answer from the FBI. The DOD is saying, oh, no. What we're dealing with here is not, what do you want to call it? It's not a threat. But then we have four-star generals coming out and saying this is a threat to national security. So
it's a major threat.
The boneheads in charge in D.C. are trying to say, oh, there's nothing going on here. But yet the proof is in the pudding. And more importantly, the proof is in the sky over our cities on the East Coast.
The proof is in New Jersey with a helicopter that was told not to land to pick up or save a life, that medevac. How important was that? You know, that's just horrific to feel, for me to, you know, hear, you know, because now they have to call an ambulance, and that takes time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You have to find someplace else to land to be able to get to it. It just makes a big problem. Now, mentioning about other craft that could be up there chasing these things in the air. Let me take these two things, pull them off to the side. Get this one. I'll leave this up here for kicks. This is another video that came out from last night at 7:43 p.m. Eastern. And this showed a craft that's flying over the residents of New Jersey. Now, one of the things, actually, this is taken near Bedminster, New Jersey. Now, on some of the other videos we're going to be having out here tonight, we've got audio to play along with this one. This one does have audio, and if you listen to it, that kind of sounds like a helicopter. And
sounds like a Black Hawk. That sounds like a Black Hawk to me. You know, at night I would have just thought that was a Black Hawk.
Yep. Now, as we take this craft and we move it right in front of the moon, you can see clearly what we have here is a helicopter. But on the helicopter, you can see we've got lights on the side, in the middle, and the back. Then you've got a green light here, which, again, all of these different pieces, this is clearly probably one of the choppers from the the New Jersey State Patrol that's been out there to try and figure out what's going on in the sky. That's one of the things that we want to pull out and say, not everything that's up there is going to be necessarily one of these drones. You know, one of the scenarios I brought up earlier today, Abe, was that potentially if there were repeated sightings going on, or there were incursions coming from a non-human intelligence, and the United States government wanted to cover it up. All they have to do, if they had to, is put 50 or 60 of these drones up in the air, and any kind of sightings that would be seen of a UAP would potentially be completely overridden with these objects. Your thoughts?
I feel like they're not doing their due diligence with this right now. We could be using World War II spotlights. We could be using gliders. There's a laundry list of things that they have available to them in their inventory that they could actually throw up there. Multiple. I know for a fact right now there are 3 drones off of the East Coast of the United States right now. 3 military drones off the East Coast. They're at specifically different altitudes, really high looking. But is that enough? Like you're saying right now, why can't we just throw up 50 to 60 DJI drones and do solve some problems? I think that's a hell of an idea. So somebody's not using their, in certain departments, or maybe they're doing it on purpose. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I would have to agree with you completely, my friend. If we can, Greg O'Brien, you have your hand up before we get on to our first video clip for the night.
I was wondering if you could pull the picture of that plane you just had on the screen, please.
Oh yeah, sure.
How far have you zoomed into that picture before it gets too sloppy? I just wanted to see if there's any kind of weird shadows.
There's no weird shadows. This is I've already taken the image, and I've dealt with the brightness and contrast a little bit to go ahead and bring up and be able to see, not yet, to see what it looks like. When I'm done, I'm getting done early. We went and took a look at it, and it's pretty much what it shows, Greg.
All right, yeah, because usually I know sometimes if it was military, it would have at least maybe a pod or some sort underneath it, or
yeah.
But I guess it could be all internal. What the fuck do I know?
Now remember, these craft are small. They're like 15 feet across, and you got the length that goes within the whole bit. So it's not like the size of a 737 or a 707 or even any of the E-2 Hawkeyes that are out there. These things are small.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
And because they're moving so slow, some of them are moving 50 miles an hour. They almost have the turning radius of an SUV.
And there are engines on there for okay, yeah.
It looks like it's an engine, but we don't know.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Okay.
This is what I brought up last night. It's the old saying: if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, and
what is it?
Floats like a duck. It's a duck, but these kind of look like a plane, but they don't sound like a plane. So is it really a plane? And the size of it is not a plane. So what are we really dealing with here except some kind of a new drone technology? Now we have Tommy Cavello in the audience who's saying, I've seen 6 of them about 40 minutes ago in Barnegat, New Jersey. It's out there. Now, if I could ask you, our audience, really quick, if you're new to the show, you're watching us, you haven't subscribed, do us a favor. That's the only way we can go ahead and grow our show, is to show YouTube there's more people interested. There's more people in wanting to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do us a favor, folks. Hit that button. We'd love to have you here as a regular on Disclosure. Tonight we cover this and all things UFO disclosure when it's appropriate. More importantly, if you haven't given us a thumbs up yet, give us a thumbs up. If not, give us a thumbs down, because look at this, Greg. We have 1,190 people watching the show, but only 199 likes. We must be doing something wrong here.
I say boo to that, good sir. Boo.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Alice W., new member from who joined the show recently, is in the back. She has a question. Alice, go ahead.
Hey, Tom. Does anybody remember that our government created the Space Force? And I'm wondering why we don't hear anything from them, or if they're not involved at all.
Well, Space Force has a domain that's pretty high up there, meaning it's above where the Air Force handles. So any of the things that we're seeing off in this point, Alice, would be more in the domain of the Air Force than it would be the Space Force. Now, granted, the Space Force does have a lot of great satellites up there that used to belong to the Air Force, for that matter, that they can see down with. And they do have a great radar system that goes out there that's still primarily Air Force. It's a good question. Why isn't the military more involved with this? Because clearly it's an issue of national security.
Yes, I think so.
Awesome. Now, I do have a video coming up here. This is coming to us from CBS News in Philadelphia from 5:06 p.m. this evening. Let's go ahead and play this next clip here, and then we'll talk about it. And we've got 14 more of these things to go through, my friends. There's a lot of interest, a lot of coverage on this, so here we go.
Well, drones in South Jersey, it's seemingly still all the buzz over the Garden State.
Well, we first shared this story with you last week when local police shared multiple drone sightings over Burlington and Camden and Ocean counties. Our Nikki Dimitri is working to get answers for us after neighbors continued to see these alleged drones over the weekend.
2 more.
Suspected drones in the South Jersey sky.
It's on all the township news pages on Facebook and everything. People are taking pictures.
I'm gonna keep my eyes to the sky. I'm watching anyway. I do that anyway, especially at nighttime.
The buzz about these aircraft started last week and spilled into the weekend.
That's huge.
Doug McLaughlin shared these videos of the unusual activity seen from his Marlton backyard.
Saturday night, we were sitting outside by the fire, and there they appeared.
Is there ever a question in your mind if these are actually just planes?
No, the flight path above our house has been the same probably for years. So they're not following the regular flight path for the planes going to the airport.
An FAA spokesperson tells CBS News Philadelphia the drone activity was first reported in North Jersey back on November 18th. Evesham police shared they're investigating the questionable aircrafts, adding several responded over Medford, Mount Laurel, and Cherry Hill. Aviation expert Richard Levy shares his thoughts.
The Department of Homeland Security is in touch with the mayor, the governor in New York, Governor Murphy. I find it quite interesting. I'm not speculating. They had a nice conversation, and the conclusions of that were not convincing to me that it was something bad, something mysterious. Not saying it can't be.
Senator Andy Kim says his office has fielded, quote, a lot of calls regarding possible drone sightings. The congressman adds he too has sat down to talk about the issue with Homeland Security, plus the governor and other New Jersey lawmakers.
I don't have information I can share just yet in terms of definitive information, but there are efforts at the federal, the state, and the local level to try to ascertain what it is and what we're trying to do to be able to address that.
Nikki Dimitri, CBS News, Philadelphia.
There you go, back into it again. It's very interesting for what they're bringing up and what they're saying. There's a lot of different potentialities of what it could be, whether it's something coming in, again, from our own military, and they're trying to set us up for confrontation with China. Now, we were talking about this earlier, Abe, with regards to the situation with China and the tensions that are happening right now. I believe there was a situation that went on where there were over 90, what do you call it, Chinese Navy and Coast Guard vessels that were put out around Taiwan and the northern islands of Japan.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and that does not seem normal. If it was a training exercise, normally they announce that, hey, we're going to do a training exercise. But I typically look in that OSINT community and try to check for those kind of things. And I didn't hear anything about that.
OSINT, what does that stand for again?
Operational, I'm sorry, open source intelligence. It's intelligence from the military and the intelligence world that you could basically just find yourself if you dig hard enough.
So it's people who used to be part of the intelligence community who have gone, they're no longer in it, and they're trying to do their own reporting outside of the usual channels.
Right. It's basically reporters for the intelligence community on YouTube. And some of them are ex-military, some of them are ex-intelligence IC community. But I checked out those channels, and I didn't hear anything about any Chinese training coming up. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you talking about OSINT, Thomas?
Yeah, of course, Mike. I was just about to play your sound effect and call you in. Thanks for coming in today, Mike.
Perfect. Oh, no, we have to cover this. This is live, and this is going on every day now. But OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, which means anything that's publicly available, you can look for intelligence out of it. Like press releases from the government and corporations. It gives you what the information is that's openly out there. So,
right. Now, coming from your perspective, you've been, behind the scenes working with different sources from the actual intelligence community in Washington. And What are you hearing, Mike?
Well, I'm hearing from the government side of things that they believe this is a technological breakthrough from the Chinese and what they have been working on their legacy UAP programs for decades now. They seem to have gone further ahead than the U.S. is in as far as material science and quantum technology development.
Right.
And these drones that are behaving very strangely, as opposed to prosaic drones, is a result of the research that China has been working on. Because, look, you and I have talked about this on the show.
So are you
for a
talking
while
about
now.
research and just general science and technology, or are you talking about research as far as reverse engineering of non-human craft?
Correct. They have been working, and you and I have talked about this in previous shows. The United States has a limited amount of people that are read in to do actual research on the legacy UAP programs.
Correct, yes.
China has a million people that they could put to work on this because it's a communist country. So they don't have to worry about, people leaking things or being whistleblowers. That doesn't exist in China. So they can have a lot of development a lot faster than we can on this. And it seems like that these drones are exhibiting that type of advanced breakthroughs in technology with how they've been operating. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
And I could also tell you that our government does not want to publicly call out China, because if they did, then what we have seen has been going on is considered to be an act of war. But the administration right now is not really on top of things because they're getting ready to leave the White House in a few short weeks. So our government doesn't want to engage in open hostilities with a foreign adversary because basically nobody's running the show right now.
So kind of what you're talking about here, Mike, is almost what we have going on the East Coast, and is an invasion, and our government right now is too weak to go ahead and call it out for what it is, and they're potentially allowing the Chinese just to run over us because they're more concerned about who they're going to pardon next.
Yeah, the current president is really concerned about his only son going to jail, so he's focusing on pardons. The vice president has to answer for over $1 billion in cash that disappeared quickly. So they're not really focusing on what's going on with these drones at the moment, unfortunately.
Now, in the chat, Mike Angel brings up a good point. The West Coast is closer to China. Why don't we see them here? Well, because I would say a majority of our sensitive assets and what we're dealing with, and Washington, D.C., and a lot of our military bases are all on that East Coast area, aren't they, Mike?
Correct. No, Thomas, you're absolutely right. A lot of our key assets are on the East Coast, not the West Coast. West Coast is primarily for training, as we were aware of with the Tic Tac incident that happened off the coast of San Diego. That is a large training area for our Navy and our Air Force.
Right.
So,
but if just to go ahead and take a quote from the audience, Mike is acting like the president sits there running the military. They don't need an old man telling them how to work and operate. Well, clearly, in this particular instance, they do, because they are failing and failing horribly. Now, if our president wanted to go ahead and take out the pen and write up an executive order allowing the military to bring these craft down, it's something as the commander-in-chief of the military, he would have the opportunity to go and do that, right, Mike?
No, that's correct, Thomas. And what the audience is failing to understand is that, like when we had back in February with those objects that came in to
and by
Alaska.
the way, this isn't partisan. Doesn't matter who would be in the presidency. At this point, where we're at, our president is not leading on this. So I wouldn't care if it was a Republican in office or a Democrat in office. Clearly, we need leadership over this country, over our military, to go ahead and stop this invasion from going on. You know, a lot of people want to say, because you call it one side or the other, Mike, that we're playing either side of the flute for that matter. No, we're just trying to call out the obvious.
Right, because as I have stated publicly for a long time now, I am neither a Republican nor a Democrat.
Yeah.
I am simply a reporter, and I cover both sides of the aisle. So I'm just stating the facts as far as the current administration and what we're up against and dealing with, and why there seems to be a lack of leadership at the moment. As far as the military, they do not have the ability to act unilaterally. They cannot engage in open hostilities or fire a shot unless it is authorized by the White House. That's just a simple fact. So without anybody calling the shots right now from the White House, the executive branch, there'll be no military action directly taken on these drones, which is what we're seeing. Right, Thomas?
Right. If we do get a president in who's going to sign some executive power and stop this stuff, either way, it needs to stop, because if this is the military doing this, Mike, the United States military, they're basically running a psyop and a terror operation against the people of the United States, which I have to say is probably not beyond the scope of what our government would do.
No, it certainly could be a possibility. I mean, the history with our government indicates that clearly. But do I believe at the moment that that's what they're doing? Until there's more information or data one way or the other, it's really hard to say. My position is, from what I'm hearing from the inside, is they believe that this is China. But again, even with that, we don't have any direct evidence to support any of these theories at the moment.
And you've got that. Your source is saying that. On the other side, I hear it from my sources saying this is a false flag operation being put in place by the current administration to drag us into World War III with China because of the ties to the military-industrial complex. So there's a lot of different ways this could potentially play, and I'm just waiting to see where this is going to go next.
As am I. I'm very interested to see how this develops, and it's still ongoing. I heard reports earlier today that one of these objects were allegedly dropping orbs, white orbs, out of them. I don't know if that's true, but I know there are reports that they've witnessed something like that.
And that could be potentially, Mike, I did bring it up before you jumped on today. One of the scenarios could be is we have a non-human intelligence operation going on, but then we have the U.S. military potentially coming and bringing all these drones to inundate the skies with these other objects to distract people from looking at the things we should be seeing.
Right, and that certainly is possible. But until we have definitive proof and more data and evidence to indicate one way or the other what's going on, right now we really don't know. But it is interesting. And we are going to be staying on top of all of these developments as they happen.
Absolutely. If we could, I want to call on Greg O'Brien. You had your hand up for a little bit. Sorry it took me so long to call you, Greg. Go ahead.
No, I just put it down. We kind of got off the topic I want to choose. But just real quick, if Chinese, does anybody here think that any part of this could be stolen from, say, USA or even, say, Russia?
No, from Greg, from what I've heard from inside the intelligence community, they believe that this is breakthroughs that China developed on its own from their own research on UAP, which they've been doing as long as we have. So, and David Grush talked about this when he testified. We're in a Cold War between Russian research, Chinese research, and U.S. research on UAP. The Russian program is called Thread 3. George Knapp, who went to Russia at the fall of the end of the Cold War, he went there and he found their program, which is current till today. It's still ongoing, the Russian program. But it seems like China is able to devote more resources, and I don't believe Russia has any real breakthroughs in regards to their research, because if they did, they wouldn't be struggling for over 2 years with Ukraine the way that they have, obviously. So I hope that answers your questions, Greg.
I love it, man. Absolutely. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Corporal Abe, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, what's
David
up, babe?
Fravor. Hey, but David Fravor said it. Mike D just said it, and I've said it. It's an act of war if you're jamming our radars and if you're flying over our bases and over our civilian homes.
Absolutely.
When it comes to that false flag thing, all I can say is the military, these specific bases the same people that work at those bases, their families and their children are at homes in the same communities that are being flown over. So things are going to fall out of the sky or potentially harm these communities. You got to think the same people live in the same homes that are on the bases, and that's why I don't believe it has anything to do with our local military, our lower military. Maybe it's got something to do with somebody in the Pentagon or in the political system. That's above my pay grade, you know. But I think it's just a regular joke.
It's a possibility, Abe. You're right, but we don't have any evidence directly supporting that one way or the other. And as far as the Air Force is concerned, their position is, as is the Pentagon, there is no threat at the moment from these drones. That's the official position. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'm sure you don't.
I don't believe it either, because we've got a 4-star general in one of the audio clips we'll be bringing up later today who talks about this and basically said that. Oh, what did he say again last night? That he believes this is a threat to our national security. It's the same thing like what they've been saying about UFOs. It's not a threat, but the reality is, how do they really know that? I think they're just pulling the wool over everyone's eyes on that one.
Not only that, we have evidence of them interfering with the medevac flight. That's enough for me right there. That's all I need to say. That's it. That's enough. It's too much.
It's obvious. They're flying unimpeded in our airwaves, in our skies. They're flying in areas where they shouldn't be. They're breaking federal laws by being over 400 feet, because that's the most people can be up for drones and stuff. Before I get to the next couple people who have their hand up, I want to take care of our audience out there. We have another video clip coming up from ABC News this evening in Philadelphia, I believe. Of 8 ABC or 6 ABC. Let's go ahead and play this next clip, and then we can reflect on it. Here we go, everybody.
Tight, lift it up. Ballet is.
Wait a minute.
She's gonna meet Cleopatra.
Oh, that's not it. It gave us a. It's supposed to be UFOs, and it gave us something on ballet. On that note, let me go ahead and bring up this next one here. Open an external application. Here we go. Coming to us from national news. I think this should be it. Yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and play this next clip. Sorry, folks. Sometimes the stuff you download, you think it's one thing, and it turns out to being something else. Nobody's perfect here. All right, here we go, everybody.
So, federal investigators are working on solving a mystery in the skies. People in several states have been seeing drones flying around at night, but nobody really knows who's flying them. These sightings started in New Jersey, right near a U.S. military research and manufacturing facility, and over President-elect Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster. Local police have been launching their own drones to figure out what's going on.
Right now, we just want to identify what it is. The way it was explained, they're 2 feet bigger than our drones, or 2 times the size rather, so they're about 4 feet, and it looks like it's a fixed wing type craft. What concerns us mostly is that at this point, nobody's seen any of these units taking off or landing.
Over the weekend, a large drone also seen flying over a California event attended by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Sightings have also been reported in New York City as well. FBI investigators are asking anybody who sees something like this to send them pictures and videos if possible.
Interesting clip coming up there, and I have another clip. Really quickly, I want to thank Matthias for that wonderful super chat. 10 euros. The military budget of the USA is huge compared to China. I don't think they're capable of this kind of operation and would risk their tech being shot down. Still think the NHI is the most probable option really quick. China does have a lot of money. More importantly, on that particular aspect, not only do they have a lot of money, they haven't been funding foreign wars like the United States has been doing nonstop for the last, 20, 30 years, Mike, at least?
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Thomas. That's a very good point. You hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now,
China has, they have the purse strings to do what they want to do.
Now, it could be NHI. We're not ruling that out. That's one of the 3 scenarios. One, that it's China doing this brazenly. Next is it's the United States trying to pull something over, a terror operation on the people of the United States, which is not beyond them, to go ahead and blame it on China and get us into World War III. Or potentially it could be a non-human intelligence trying to have technology coming out that looks like our own to go ahead and get us more used to seeing things in the sky as much as they could be. There's a lot of different scenarios this could be, right, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. And regardless of what I'm hearing coming from the Pentagon, I could tell you that my gut is telling me that if there is no specific information to support that these are in fact prosaic in nature, that it very well could be NHI. So Matthias is not wrong. It's a possibility, certainly.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
absolutely.
As do you.
You know, if we can, I've got more people who want to join the back. Let's see if there's anyone else here. Ali, you have your hand up. You're a former intelligence representative from Sweden, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is very interesting at times, guys. I think the scenario that you just brought up here, Thomas, is that we could see a mixture between American defense drones and the NHA drones.
Mm-hmm.
So they are putting up there to spy for them and to make the public a little bit confused as well. What kind of origins these drones has. But when it comes to China, I see, well, what Mike put it very well concerning the human resources in form of engineers in China now. They are educated millions of very qualified engineers now. They are really doing a national effort to catch up with Western technology. And so far, I think we have to realize that they may already be ahead of us. But
unfortunately,
from my intelligence background here, it's I just got the basic training, and I got some very specific task when it comes to intelligence. But the China here doesn't make sense for me as the actor in this in these days of the last month. Because why? I think the first one is it's spread all over the world. Now this drones is detected. We have England, we have Langley, we have New Jersey, we have New York. And to me, as the risks for the Chinese to have this kind of very aggressive, even war kind of action, exposing them to a lot of risks, even as China is a very tight country when it comes to information and so on.
Yeah.
The risk is too high, and the strategies for me, it doesn't make sense. Why would they do this now in this way? And my other question is, well, from what I know, it's only nighttime when we see them, and they are deliberately lighting up these drones or these craft or these NHA UAPs or whatever they are.
It's not slowing down, is it, Ali?
No, it doesn't seem to. So far, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It seems more to be accelerated.
Exactly.
So there's China thing here. Maybe they have more higher level of technology than we have in the West. That's I cannot exclude that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for your comments on that, Ali. I'll look forward to see what you have to say a little bit down the road. Now, I know we have more people hands up in the back, but I want to get to the next video clip because we have like 15 to get through today on this one. Let's bring up the next one. We actually have two clips here about New Jersey residents take to social media to share drone sightings. Let's bring up this one from Fox News, and we got another one coming right after that, coming from New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, saying we need to know what's going on in our skies. So let's get this first one here, and then we'll move right to the next. Here we go. Actually, what we just have here on this one is just some footage that's being played of some of the drones that are being seen, and we're seeing a usual pattern. These are low-quality videos here, so let me jump onto this one here and go right to the next. This one, I've got a lot better footage I can go ahead and play back. Let's get to some footage coming from New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. Here we go.
I'm Dave Hamilberg with Fox News. The drones in New Jersey, in Morris County, I don't know how many mayors sent a letter to you this morning asking for a clarification. What can you tell us? What is going on, and why is it taking so long to come up with an explanation?
Yeah, it's a good, I don't blame people for being frustrated. Let me say, most importantly, right up front, we see no evidence, and I say we, this includes Homeland Security, FBI, Secret Service, our state police, authorities at all levels of government. The most important point to say is we don't see any concern for public safety. That's number one. Number two, having said that, it's really frustrating that we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing. We had last night 49 sightings. I think 20 of them were over Hunterdon. Now, those include, I think I saw one, mistaken a fixed-wing aircraft, a plane, a small Piper Cub, for instance, for a drone, or you saw one, and that counts, and then I saw the same one, and that counts. So we think these are overstated, but it's a non-zero number. I was on with the White House and Homeland Security leadership literally at the very top yesterday for pretty much all day. I'm hoping we'll get answers sooner than later. I would just ask folks to continue to let the FBI or their local law enforcement know when they see something, and we'll continue to do everything we can with our federal partners to get clearer answers.
Why is it so hard to get answers?
These are apparently very, as I understand it, very sophisticated. The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark. And, you know, we're obviously most concerned about sensitive targets and sensitive critical infrastructure. So we've got military assets, we've got utility assets, we've got the president-elect's one of his homes here. This is something we're taking deadly seriously. We've gotten good cooperation out of the feds, but we need more, and that was my plea.
Finally, how much longer do you think?
I don't know, but if we have news, I'll let you know. The minute we know something, I'm not going to hide it under a bushel.
Governor, you're going to have people saying, you know, I saw a drone and it was spraying something, or I saw a drone crash in my yard and set off an alarm when I tried to go near it. There's a lot of fear amongst New Jersey residents. I mean, what is your message?
Well, the message I just gave. But by the way, we're not aware of any nefarious drone that has crashed, or if there is one that's crashed, could someone please call me and let me know where that is? There are a couple of rumored downings for one reason or another. One of them was a toy. The other one was never found. But having something,
wait a minute. We've got some great videos up here of those down craft. I don't know where he's looking, in a trash can.
On equipment that's on the ground would be helpful, no question about it. Brett.
It was just reported that Kevin Corbett's leaving NJ Transit.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, you know, it ended a bit early, but
crashed out of the sky. It was crazy. The field's on fire. There was like a craft that crashed out of the sky. It was crazy. The field's on fire.
So there's the other clip, and here I actually get this schmuck out of the way here. Here's the other one.
We're on the highway, and out in the distance we see all these lights going off. A lot of smoke and fire.
So, Mike, if you ask me, let me get back into desktop document. Mike, this doesn't look like anything that's a toy that crashed or something that can't be figured out. This is clearly an aircraft that came down.
It's something that came out of the sky. It's certainly not a toy. That's complete bullshit to make up that kind of a statement. I don't know why he would think that he can get away with that. No one's going to buy it. No one's going to buy that.
And for anyone who joined us late, this is something that came in late last night. This is something we grabbed and brought out here. Wanted to go ahead and show this. This is coming from a friend on YouTube tracking it, and it's just interesting to see this situation just unfolding before our eyes. Clearly something big came down, and based on the type of flames that you're seeing here, Abe, I think you would said that because of the different colors that we're seeing of the actual flames themselves, that means that we have different types of metals and materials that are actually burning at this point. It's not just your regular brush fire.
That's correct, Thomas. It's spread out all over a wide area. You can see white smoke, different color smoke, and this is indicative of the different types of metals and materials burning. It's not just grass. It's not a grass fire, you know. And if somebody just went out there and poured gasoline all over the grass, it would be black smoke.
Yeah. Apparently, the governor of New Jersey has no idea on how connected people really are these days on social media. And when information like this happens, there are people out there, they're going to grab it. And that's what I love about what we're seeing, Abe, versus some sightings you have where people have one picture of a UFO over a huge metropolitan area. Here we've got a lot of them going on, a lot of people in the metropolitan area. Everybody's sharing their footage, which is great.
Thomas, I was in the military. You know, Mike was a cop. I'm sure there's other people in here who serve the country in many different ways. This is not how leadership is supposed to fucking work. This is not how you explain things to the people that elect you and put you in a leadership position. This is just not how it works. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. If I could go ahead and bring it up, Mike, if you go ahead and take a look at that, we're only about 380 views from hitting 11,000. Not views. We're only about 380 people away from hitting 11,000 subscribers. This has been an unbelievable growth for Disclosure tonight. And any of you out there who are watching, which a majority of them are you who are watching, are not subscribers, do us a favor. Give us a like and give us a subscribe to Disclosure tonight. This is one of the few metrics we can go ahead and share with YouTube to say, hey, look at this. There's a lot of people joining and people are interested. If you're having a good time, give us a chance, because the cost, Mike, of subscription is how much?
Free, and we'll double your money back guarantee if you're not happy with it.
Yeah.
So by all means, please press the button and like and subscribe, because it certainly helps to get the word out on YouTube with the algorithm and for other people to see what we're covering here, Thomas and I.
Yeah. You know, with 1,736 people watching right now on the console, maybe a little bit more than that, we only have 489 likes. What are we doing wrong, folks? Show that you're enjoying the show. And if you're not having a good time, give us a thumbs down. We'll take one or the other. But if you're going to give us a thumbs down, at least tell us in the comments below what we can do to up our game to make the show better for everybody, because we're a community-funded program, and we're here for our audience. Right, Mike?
That's correct. That's why we do this. That's why we put our time and our work and our effort in, to provide the truth to the audience that we're not getting from mainstream media or the government. Yeah. So if you enjoy it, please like and subscribe and help support us for what we do for you and for everybody. I just sent you a DM that has a statement from Senator Kirsten Gillibrand that we could cover.
All right, we'll get to her shortly. I'm just trying to see what other videos I have here to bring up next first while I go ahead and work that. Sorry about the noises in the background. I've got a husky having a fun time chasing
and we got a super chat from Dennis Benke.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Holy cow, appreciate that. All right, coming in our next video clip, we're going to go ahead and play here. Again, it's coming from Fox News. Seems to have a sweep on this one. Apparently, they've found that the people are interested in this out there. Dennis Benke, 99 cents. Every penny counts. Thank you very much, Dennis. We thank you very much. And if we look at the magic numbers here, Mike, where are we at? We're at 10,667. We're just about 330 members away. So if you haven't subscribed yet, folks, join the wave. We'd love to have you here as a regular Disclosure tonight. Here we go. Here's our next clip.
People who've seen them tell police some of those drones are as big as SUVs. Some have even been spotted near President-elect Trump's golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Still no leads on who's behind the drones or where they're being launched from. But local, state, and federal law enforcement are investigating. CB Cotton is live in New York City with more on this bizarre story. CB.
Hi, John. Yeah, the drone sightings appear to be extending in multiple directions. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis says the nighttime drones have now been spotted in her district, Staten Island. But over in New Jersey, where this mystery first began, now neighbors report not only seeing them in the northern part of the state, but also the southern part. So this all started the week before Thanksgiving when people saw the flying objects whipping through the dark, typically between 5 and 11 p.m., causing concern because, as you said, the unidentified drones weren't far from both a military base and President-elect Donald Trump's Bedminster Golf Club. One family says while in the car, a drone hovered above and the clock inside the car jumped forward an hour. But the family says the clock went back to normal after the car drove off. And this woman, she took this video in Jersey. She tells Fox she's seen the drones come one after the other and sometimes in clusters. Another Jersey resident, Jonathan Lace, who's also a private pilot, tells us he saw up to 10 drones this past Friday, all near the Essex County Airport.
My biggest concern is for the safety of flight. And anytime there's an unauthorized aircraft traversing controlled airspace, that poses an immediate hazard that increases the risk to the safety of flight.
Now, really quick, I want to go ahead and just interrupt this broadcast for another important broadcast, what I've got here. I know it's one of those faux pas, but, you know, this is an audio clip that's coming from the Gloucester County, New Jersey fire. Let's hear what they're saying about the drones and impeding their ability to help the citizens.
Attention all southern-based aeromedical units. There are 5 to 7 drones flying at a high level over Hamilton. There are 5 to 7 drones flying at a high level over Hamilton. Use caution in the area. Sure. It's going to be north 3933.09, north 3933.09, west 7438.30, west 7438.30.
Great, thank you.
So there you go. Right as they're talking about it in the broadcast, I wanted to bring that up. Let's continue on with this broadcast.
So New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy held a meeting this past Thursday with DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and other state leaders, posting on X, quote, "We are actively monitoring the situation and in close coordination with our federal and law enforcement partners on this matter. There is no known threat to the public at this time. As the mystery continues, the FAA has temporarily banned drones from flying over the military base and the Trump Golf Club in New Jersey. The FBI telling us today there's no new information, but the investigation with state and local police is still ongoing." John.
And CB, some people think these are some kind of government drones, right?
Some neighbors do suspect that they may be involved with the government. Other neighbors think teens might be behind it. But either way, they're just angry and frustrated and they want answers.
Now, clearly, Mike, these are not, this isn't being done by teens. Let's just be honest.
Oh, my God, no.
We're talking about, 50 to 60 objects up in the sky. They're the size of an SUV. They're highly advanced technology. This is something that is not being purported on the public by a bunch of teens who are bored and have bad parents for that matter.
No, this is not objects you can buy from Amazon off the shelf. No. Absolutely not.
Exactly on that front. If we could, we have 4 people in the back with their hands up before we get on to the next video clip. Hollywood Herald, you have your hand up, my friend. What say you?
Yeah, Thomas, I was just going to mention that the last 3 DMs I sent you on X might have something you can look at there. And also, this might be Werner von Braun's prophecy come true, right?
Potentially, it could be. He did mention it, you're right, but then again, Ross Coulthart recently also said that all hell is going to break loose in 2025. So his sources are very deep into governments all around the world.
Yep.
So there's something brewing here, Harold, obviously. That's why we're covering it.
Oh, what's the old saying, Mike? Something wicked this way comes?
Oh, absolutely, Thomas. Good point.
Absolutely. Nick, you have your hand up for some relevant questions? Nick?
Oh, yes, Thomas. Yes, did you see the one report that said where the drones are coming from? Apparently, it's coming from a lake, actually.
Well, there is a lake in an area where they've been dropping by, which is the largest reservoir in the tri-state area, but they haven't seen them coming out of the lake other than they've seen them hovering over the lake in the past. Okay. But good points, my friend. Thank you for bringing that up. James Matheson, you're new to the back. Welcome, my friend. What do you have to... What's your question, my friend, or statement? think you're still muted. If you unmute yourself, we can hear you. You need to hit the microwave. I mean, not the microwave. You need to hit the microphone.
Microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We got you, James. Go ahead.
Okay, so the James Webb Telescope spotted fully formed galaxies 200 million years after the Big Bang. That means there could be a civilization that is 13 billion years old.
Oh, yeah.
So that's plenty of time to build a planet-sized spacecraft going to solar system to solar system, terraforming planets and seeding life. I think that's what the pyramids are, and I think they're fucking on their way back, and the government knows it.
Well,
and it's secret too terrible to be told.
I'm looking forward to the giant pyramid-shaped UFOs, because when those were announced off the East Coast, on the West Coast at the USS Russell, I was like, yes, pyramid-shaped UFOs. Right? It's about time they came back. But these may not be that.
All these ancient civilizations talk about star people and the day of purification, and they basically all say the same thing, that God is coming back. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's God, but I'm pretty sure that the possibility exists, because our material science and there's no telling whether or not, faster than light travel is possible. Yeah. And if it is possible, a civilization 13 billion years old probably figured it out.
Yeah, potentially.
It's a possibility. Thank you, James.
Thank you,
We
James.
appreciate your input. Andy, you have your hand up.
You had your hand up, and good to see you in the Liberty Wings UK live stream earlier today, my friend. If anyone's wondering what Liberty Wings is a live stream that's out there that's been covering the Lakenheath and Milford. Milton Hall, yes, Milton Hall. Better yet, the UK sightings of these drones have been going on for some time. Today was a bust, but at least it's good to see it's coming out there. What say you, my friend?
Yeah, I caught it for a little while I was in work. I'm on a break at the moment, so I thought I'd pop by. I just want to commend you on 10,000 plus subscribers. Congratulations. Everybody, Thomas has a back catalogue of how many is it? 600 shows?
We've done over 700, probably close to 800 shows. Majority of them have been turned off to keep the trolls away, because they'll always go back and go after what they've been saying. But yeah, we've been doing this for a couple of years plus, Andy.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously for everybody who's new, I'm based in the UK. Just want to give a quick update on what's happening over here. Our friend Liberty Wings had a live post again today, live broadcast. Unfortunately, the weather here in the UK at the moment is absolutely horrendous. Extremely strong winds. He's had low clouds, so he's not spotted anything over Lakenheath in the last few days. It's not to say that nothing's happening there at the moment.
It's just there's nothing visibility, because visibility is horrible right now. It's less than 25% of what it usually is.
Yeah, that's correct. But as of this moment, as far as I'm aware, there have been no drones, whatever you like to call them, recovered, and yet again, nobody's been arrested or apprehended for doing anything.
But as of during his podcast earlier today, he does have the local authorities stopping by and making sure he's doing all right. But they also said they have seen things in the last couple of days. So although there hasn't been a lot of reporting on it, things are still hot and going on in the United Kingdom, in the area where potentially the United States has imported nuclear ordinances these days.
Yeah, and also I don't want to speak for Liberty Wing, but I believe he did say that the authorities, when they were passing by, asked him if he'd seen anything lately. Yeah. So it looks like they're still keeping their tabs on everything. As far as I'm aware, the NOTAM tool, the pilots, is still in.
And what does NOTAM stand for again?
It's a notice to airmen that there's a potential hazard, or and they've also not been flying at night, but also when they've been coming in as well. I think they're flying unlit as well.
Yeah, they actually put out a notice last week saying for the next couple of weeks they're going to be flying unlit in the evenings.
Yeah. So that's how it is in the UK at the moment. I'm trying to keep tabs on it as best as I can. So
Right, because what's been going on as far as our military bases and our neighborhoods getting overrun by unknown drones, this has been going on in initially got in the United States going back for well over a year at Langley Air Force Base, but in the New Jersey area going back at least 3-4 weeks at this point, and we've had this stuff going on in the UK for several weeks. So it's just an evolving situation that we're going to keep on covering here, if nightly as we need to, Andy, to go ahead and bring out the truth.
Yeah, well, I'm here with you, if not in body, in spirit, and I'm certainly listening.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Now, coming back to it, we have another broadcast from Fox News from earlier today talking about source of drones spotted in New Jersey is unclear, although based on some of our observations, it's coming out of the ocean, not underneath the ocean, but from the ocean for that matter. Let's go ahead and bring up this next video clip and let's see where it takes us.
Understandably, CB Cotton. People who've seen them tell police some of those drones are as big as SUVs. Some have even been spotted near President-elect Trump's golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Still no leads on who's behind the drones or where they're being launched from. But local, state, and federal law enforcement are investigating. CB Cotton is live in New York City with more on this bizarre story. CB.
Hi, John. Yeah, the drone sightings appear to be extending in multiple directions. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis says the nighttime drones have now been spotted in her district, Staten Island. But over in New Jersey, where this mystery first began, now neighbors report not only seeing them in the northern part of the state, but also the southern part. So this all started the week before Thanksgiving when people saw the flying objects whipping through the dark, typically between 5 and 11 p.m., causing concern because, as you said, the unidentified drones weren't far from both the military base and President-elect Donald Trump's Bedminster Golf Club. One family says while in the car, a drone hovered above and the clock inside the car jumped forward an hour.
Wait a
but
minute.
The family says the clock went back to normal.
Sorry about that. I've got a different one here to bring up in the meantime. Here we go.
Mysterious drones spotted in the New Jersey night sky, prompting an FBI investigation. Residents in Morris County have been recording the large drones which appear in the sky at night. They say it started in mid-November. So joining me now is Mayor Sam Morris, and Mine Hill Township is experiencing some of this activity. Mayor, thank you, first of all, for your time. You've seen these drones. Before we talk about the theories on the source of them, kind of just describe what you've experienced.
Been hearing about them, but last Tuesday night, a resident in town, one of my neighbors on my block, said that there were 8 overhead over our elementary school and municipal complex, which are, on the same block. So I got in my car and I rode around here, and by the time I got around here, which is only about a half-mile ride, the drones had all moved east over the town of Dover, New Jersey, kind of in between us. There's a large county park, and they were everywhere. I have a video of, it was 4 with a kind of a stationary drone. What it appeared to us was there was 1 drone that was just stationary and 4 were going back and forth in a scanning pattern. I'm a little older, so I would, look like Pong from back in the day, right? Back, forth. And they went over the town of Dover. I went down into Dover to see a better look, get some more pictures, and they moved east again. And that was my own personal observation. I have residents reporting, last night some residents reported that there were, over various times of the evening, they were watching, and there were 12 over our lake. And they can't get pictures because they come out really grainy, and they're still like little dots on cell phones. I'm hoping some folks with some really good equipment can get out there. I know there's a fellow in town who has infrared night equipment who's going out tonight looking. He's going to try to see if he can get. But it's very disconcerting.
What do you think is going on, Mayor? What do you think this is?
Well, to be intentionally a little inflammatory, the state of New Jersey has been invaded by drones. The question and the problem and the nervousness is by who? Because they are everywhere. There are hundreds of these things. I have friends.
Mike, there we go. We've got a confirmation that we are really talking about an invasion going on.
Exactly. which is what we have been mentioning since we've been covering this. But now we have an official who is confirming that this is an invasion, and it's not a question of a handful of objects, it's hundreds. He said it. The mainstream media didn't pick up on that. They haven't been reporting numbers like that. We are. There's hundreds of these things over the state of New Jersey. That's not an isolated incident, obviously. Right.
Not even in the slightest, my friend. But I had to go ahead and just pause that and bring that up because that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're going to call tomorrow. It's clearly an invasion going on of U.S. sovereign states of the United States of America. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with this video clip, and we'll talk about it more when we're done. Here we go.
Up and down the state, they're reporting down at the Jersey Shore, in southern counties, Cape May, all the way up into Sussex County, the length of the state, they're reporting that there are drones everywhere. You know, theories range from that it's a military exercise because President Trump flies in and out of New Jersey and has property here, to they're organized clubs who are just putting them up in the air. But the activity of the drones, the methodical scanning back and forth, it gives a lot of people pause because they're not really sure what, what that's about. There are people who say they're geo tracking or something. I forget what the word is, scanning, almost like a Google Earth, but a night thing, but it's all crazy speculation in the fact that no one's provided answers.
Right. So we know that it's prompted some FBI investigations, or at least word of them. What do you think happens next, Mayor?
What I hope happens next is, this is how I see it, and I'm not speaking for any of the other mayors that have been on the letters that have been presented. I'm just going to speak for myself. Either or. They either need to tell us or trusted people around us, like county sheriffs, who can reassure us that they know what it is and they are comfortable with what it is, and that, we all know there are things that the government can't tell us for security reasons, or they need to go find out.
Right.
They need to, one of the phrases I've been using is, they need to follow a drone home. These drones only have limited battery life, right?
Yeah. Mayor, I apologize. We are out of time, but we know.
Well, Mike, I have to bring it up based on the footage I just had up here shortly ago. I don't think we're dealing with issues with regards to battery life, because it looks like these craft are definitely carrying onboard fuel that's flammable.
Or using some relatively unknown form of propulsion as a breakthrough technologically. We don't know, because we don't have any direct information yet from any of these objects.
No.
But these things are not running unlimited battery power. These things are operating widespread. They're moving from one part of the state to the other. That's not something an Amazon drone can do. So he's using prosaic knowledge of these types of drones, but it doesn't apply to what we're seeing. Plus, I can tell you that right now there are drones over Dover Air Force Base in Delaware right now. So it's not just limited or isolated to New Jersey. They're in Pennsylvania over Philadelphia, and they're in Dover, Delaware. So that's not something a stock drone can do.
No, and we're talking about temperatures down in the low 40s at this point, Mike. So even if they did have batteries to go ahead and power them, and it's been down in the 20s for that matter, some of these evenings, this isn't something that we're talking about battery power. I think we've got more advanced propulsion systems than your just usual DJI drone.
Correct. These things are exhibiting the flight plans, the duration of the flights, and their movement that can't be described by a standard drone.
Exactly.
Not that we're aware of.
Nick, if you can, you have your hand up for a question. And if not, we'll move on to Syrup. Syrup, go ahead.
Real quick. Well, okay. So, yeah, maybe these things are like hybrids, right? They got batteries and gas or whatever. But what is it that I know Mike keeps saying they've had a breakaway, right? What is it that are making these drones so special that they're considered breakaway technology, I guess, is my question.
It's a breakthrough technology, Syrup. For what we're talking about is, remember, the United States military has the ability to track an object the size of a basketball or grapefruit or larger from the surface of the ocean out to beyond the moon. They're able to track that currently real time and in back time, for that matter, meaning they can go back in time and see where it is. So if these craft are coming out of the ocean, doing whatever they're doing, and they're flying back to wherever they're going, our military should have a complete history and understanding of what these objects are, where they're coming from, where they're going to, and where they're going back to. So it shouldn't be a mystery on this, right?
I agree with you on that, Thomas. I get, okay, so are you, I guess I just don't feel like, I just don't feel like, I feel like maybe they kind of do know where these drones are coming from, and they're just not telling us everything.
Well, do you trust the United States government? More importantly, do you trust the military, the intelligence community, Syrup? I sure as hell don't.
Well, listen.
No, I definitely don't.
we can answer Syrup's question. I just sent you a DM. It has our good friend Richard Geldrich's post that he just put up a few seconds ago.
What did he say, Mike?
It answers the question that Syrup just asked from Richard Geldrich.
Take it, my friend.
Okay. He wants to announce that Island Beach State Park, New Jersey, dozens of SUV-sized drones in all directions emerging at the same time and flying over the ocean and then heading in different directions. So that's where they're coming from. They're coming from the ocean. There's dozens of them, and they're going in all different directions at the same time.
So that's transmedium? Would that be considered transmedium?
No, they're coming from the ocean. They're not coming out of the ocean. So transmedium means they're in one particular medium, like the ocean. They're flying up out of the ocean into the air. What we're talking about is not that. We're talking about craft that are coming from the direction of the ocean over land.
Correct.
Okay.
So now I could tell you, Syrup, that international waters begins 12 nautical miles off of our coasts.
Unless you're in China.
Right. So if these drones are coming in from the ocean and going all over different states at the same time, then that tells you that this is coming from outside of the United States, but it's invading us with this technology, as we stated. So this is what's currently going on and where they seem to be coming from.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it seems that it's, I guess it's starting to happen kind of everywhere right now.
Well,
with these objects, they're invading.
It's happening more on the East Coast than anywhere.
Yeah, it's covering multiple states at the same time. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. I mean, that's obviously some form of an invasion. And I could tell you a stock toy drone is maybe maximum 40 minutes of flight time. These things are running for hours and days without stopping. So that's not normal technology.
No,
by no means.
It's not, Mike, at all, is it?
No, it absolutely is not.
If I can,
I
have
some hands up.
We can get to the hands in a second. I need to take a break away from here for a second. I want to go ahead and bring up this next clip coming to us from NBC News from earlier this morning. Let's go ahead and play this clip next. Here we go.
Is there a methodology and reason why?
Well, right now we just want to identify what it is. The way it was explained, they're 2 feet bigger than our drones, or 2 times the size rather, so they're about 4 feet, and it looks like it's a fixed wing type craft. What concerns us mostly is that at this point nobody's seen any of these units taking off or landing.
This is a significant threat to U.S. national security.
Retired 4-star general and NBC News military analyst Barry McCaffrey tells NBC News there's good reason why local and federal agencies are treading carefully.
When you see something of this capacity, you wonder why it would be needed. What are they doing? It implies a heavy payload, and a heavy payload would be either something dangerous, a bomb, but in this case, surveillance of some sort.
Look what's back again. Same spot as last night.
Meanwhile, more sightings of the large drones continue to proliferate social media. New Jersey resident Michael Marciano capturing these images on Saturday.
Coming right above my house.
The FBI not commenting on the drone activity to NBC News, but setting up a tip line for people to report any sightings.
It's moving really fast now.
Growing concern as the mystery in the sky continues. George Solis, NBC News, Toms River, New Jersey.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
So, Michael, your hand is up. Go next.
Yeah, so if these things are going out to the ocean, are they landing on ships? And why can't the United States, find out where these ships are anchored?
That's a good question, Michael. But
They
they're
should
not
be- they
going
should be
out
able-
to the ocean. They're coming in from the ocean.
They should be able to track any. They should be able to know where they're coming from, where they're going to, what they're doing. More importantly, where they're going back to land. It's not rocket science here, Michael.
The other thing is when one of your clips, guy said once you get eyes on them, they go dark.
Right.
How does the drone know that?
Advanced AI? There you go. That's how it would know it. So these things seem to be independent and self-sufficient and operating under orders. So that, again, like Thomas and I keep stating, breakthrough technology.
If it's dark out and you go, okay, I'm going to point my camera at this thing and then it goes dark, how does it know that you're doing that? If it's dark out and you're on the ground, it's pitch black.
It has senses. It's obviously, look, let me get to the point.
UFOs.
Why? Michael, listen, these drones, they're not sightseeing. They're not up here to put on an air show. They're here for a purpose. We don't quite know what that purpose is yet, but obviously they have technology on board. They're not operating up there for no reason. And with their sophistication and technological breakthroughs, which is how they're able to operate in this way, they are aware of what's going on the ground and any type of notice of people that are photographing them or looking to see them. Their senses are picking it up. So how they're able to go dark and be avoided from radar, which I've also heard when they go dark, they fall off the map. You can't detect them.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're able to do that. We can't do that.
To me, this is a trait that a UFO has, certainly not a drone made by man.
It certainly would appear that way because there have been reports of UAPs doing similar type of behavior. I would agree, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And we don't know for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Going to the next person with their hand up. Nick, go ahead.
Is a precursor to an alien invasion because I believe an attack could happen. And Thomas, are you amazed that the government haven't tried to?
As much as you're looking forward to an alien invasion, Nick, I don't think this is the point of the little green men landing their ships, coming out and saying, "Take me to your leader" is happening. This is something more that is. It appears to be a some kind of an adversary making an advance towards the United States, or we're dealing with the other side of the fence, which is saying that the United States is doing this on our own people, which, based on the administration we have, that's not beyond the scope because there's little trust in the military or the intelligence community. Does that make sense, Nick?
Yes. Do you believe that?
Have no fear. I've gotten a bunch of messages today from different people.
We could shoot these things down. You believe that we could shoot these things down if we wanted to? You could shoot.
I know it would certainly be worth a try, Nick.
I would say absolutely yes, 100%. But we need to grow a pair to go ahead and actually get there. And I don't think it's going to be there with the current administration. I wish 100%. I voted for him in the primary 2 times ago, my friend. Not the last time, but the time before. I voted for him in the primary. Biden. And I would love to see him get upset, get angry, get visceral, grit his teeth and say, these people, these things are going to come and take over our airspace. But it's not happening. So, well, who do we have to wait for to actually bring out the Teddy Roosevelt stick and beat the hell out of these things out of the air? Because that's what we need.
Absolutely. But we have more raised hands, so
I
let's
know.
try
Corporal
to get
Abe,
through this
go
before
ahead.
we move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. I just wanted to address the first part of Michael's question, which is about where these guys are possibly coming from, and then a question that keeps popping up in the chat as far as is it aircraft carriers? One, it's not aircraft carriers because they're pretty big, and the military would see these things on sonar, right? But China recently announced that they can launch drones from container ships and cargo containers on cargo ships.
Yeah,
so that's one thing. And two, if anybody who follows the air traffic on like Flight Tracker or ADSB, there's also a similar app that follows the vessel traffic on the oceans, right? And if you've ever just seen a zoomed out view of the planet and the air traffic and how cluttered it is, it's almost 10 times more cluttered on the oceans.
Yeah.
Especially around the East Coast.
I mean,
of the United
look at this
States.
craft coming down here. This thing is going really slow. Granted, it's about 14 feet, 15 feet across. The length of an SUV, like the size of a Chevy Suburban that you're familiar with, Mike. It looks like it might be black too. But if you look at this thing, it's like barely crawling through the skies over Bedminster, New Jersey.
The logistics it would take to put a craft like that on an aircraft carrier, sail it to the East Coast of the United States, it would take a lot of people, a lot of material,
But if you have like 40 or 50 of these things you're launching, one after the other, guess what? What goes up must come down. So someone's going to have to be there to bring all these birds down in the end of the evening, and then to service them and get them ready, deal with any mechanical issues to get them back up the next night again.
For the amount of numbers of nights that we're dealing with this, they have to have maintenance if they're human made. So
yeah,
so they got to go somewhere. They have to go somewhere.
You know what? I'll put it this way. No matter who made it, these kind of craft are going to need maintenance because do we have audio on this one? There we go.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
There we go. That's not a helicopter. That's it's a higher pitch than what you'd have like a Cessna. Actually, a little bit lower pitch than a Cessna. But I'm not hearing one motor. I'm hearing multiple motors.
I agree. It's got a different tone. It's got a very different tone than like a regular helicopter or even a V-22.
Yeah.
So not a Chinook. Chinook's pretty much ruled out.
You can hear the double rotor blades in the Chinook. You can hear the womp, 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 those rotor blades.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique on a Chinook.
Yeah, it's more thumping, right? More bassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, look at the size of this thing. It's almost the size of a house.
You're right, Mike. You're right. It is. It's big as hell. And then it's up in the air and it's at a little bit of a distance. So it's even bigger than what we're really
But the thing is,
from this camera angle.
I want to point this out. Look how low they're operating to the ground.
Yeah, that's not legal. That's not right.
It's not legal, but more importantly, where does our military and their sales pitch saying we can pick this stuff up from the surface all the way up to beyond the moon? How close to the surface does it actually, where they actually start picking up objects, Abe?
They're supposed to be able to see this. I mean, they're not. I can't find it on flight radar. So if I can't find it on flight radar, I don't know.
No one's finding it on flight radar.
If the military is not tracking this on radar, then that's an active war. That's just an active war. Whoever this belongs to, it doesn't matter if it's a government, an agency, a red cell, it doesn't matter. It's an active war.
Yes, you may, Greg. Go ahead.
Oh, that was me. I was just asking because it is so low to the ground. Maybe Mike would know. Sorry to cut anyone off, but would civilians legally be able to shoot at these things, or would that be breaking law?
That's against
federal. Illegal.
Absolutely not.
You cannot shoot at a drone or anything that's flying in the air Because if you were to knock it out,
unless you're in Western North Carolina, and it's something that's identified as, oh my goodness, yes, federal government,
a revenuer.
Yeah, well, not
taxman,
not just revenuers, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, because if you were to actually take it down and it crashed into that house, and it's almost the size of that house, you'd kill everybody on board. They wouldn't. That's completely illegal. So no, you wouldn't be able to do that. Not legally.
Yeah. If I might, guys, I need to go ahead and interrupt this wonderful broadcast for what we've been doing here so far. Where is that at? And breaking UFO news alert, UFOs alert here on Disclosure tonight. I'll remind everybody, if you're watching the show, you haven't subscribed yet, do us a favor. We're at like less than 300 subs from hitting 11,000. We just hit 10,000 yesterday. We're on a swing. Everything's going great. Do us a favor. If you're having a good time, you're watching the show, you haven't subscribed yet, take this small moment to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here as a regular Disclosure tonight. We are going to be covering these kind of incursions as a priority going forward. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see what's going on in the skies against the United States, whether it's here or abroad, we will be covering that. I guarantee 100%. So do us a favor, folks. If you haven't hit the subscribe yet, hit it. And if you want to hear about UFOs and everything else and Disclosure, we got Lou Elizondo coming here in the next 10 days or so, right, Mike? It should be a good one.
Right. It'll be fun.
Unless something suddenly came up.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens. We have some time.
Oh, we definitely do. It's a great time ahead for all of us. So on that note, we got 3 more people in the back with their hands up. James, go ahead. And then Ollie and Alice. James, you have your hand up? Let's move on. There you go. You're unmuted. No, maybe not. Ollie, go ahead.
Hey, my bad.
There you go, James. Take it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about the social anxiety earlier. All right. My question is, so if it is a secret too terrible to be told, and it turns out it's non-human intelligence, and they're going to take the people who have the genetic traits they want, wipe everybody else out, and there's nothing the government can do about it, why would they tell us? Why would they tell us if that's what if it's some secret too terrible to be told? Because it would only cause panic. What do you think?
Bingo. They would have been taking those people off planet for the longest period of time, or getting them set up for whatever it is. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
They might be tracking those people down.
This isn't like this isn't some big alien operation to go ahead and announce we're coming to take you folks away, the people who've paid the price, because we found the people and they're only in New Jersey. Oh my God.
Well, it's all over the world. It's all over the world. I spotted one over Monroe, North Carolina, not even 200 feet above me. Looked like a plane, just like the ones you saw.
Yeah.
I swear to God, hand to God. So, I mean, it's all over the world.
Oh, the special ones are the ones that you can't see with your eye because you're trying to hide yourself from them. I've got videos of ones that were taken over Malta a couple of years ago, and these things are moving 14,000 miles per hour in comparison to a Red Arrow jet fighter squadron. It's like the Blue Angels, but from the United Kingdom, flying over Malta. And these guys are going about 500 miles an hour. And then you've got a UFO coming out from the distance, coming bang and swooping right in front of the nose within 70 feet, leveling off and just shooting off. You know, it's kind of like we're out there to show this is our best. Look how great our stuff is. And the non-human intelligence is like, nah, fuck you. Ours is so much better. Yeah. And these craft are slow. And they're methodical in what's going on. They want to be seen so clearly. I would call this out, whether it's from the United States or China. This is a psychological operation against the people of the United States.
Well, thank you for that, James. We appreciate it.
No, James, now, great conversation.
Oh, it's great, but we have a lot of hands up. So
that's okay. We can get to it. Next, I want to call on Alice. Alice, go ahead. You're new.
Hello. Talking about Trump, and he hasn't vocalized anything about this that I've heard.
No.
And
that's right.
That's very unusual for Trump.
Well, hasn't he been over in France meeting with Macron and Zelensky?
Yeah.
And he's got other stuff going on. But yeah, you know what? Good point. We should hear something from him on this.
Yeah, because anything like this, I think he would be all over it. And before he said he was open to letting the UFO disclosure.
Yeah. He wants to bring the
got back in
Kennedy stuff
office.
out. He wants to bring the UFO stuff out. We saw a picture right around on this Thanksgiving family photo with Danny Sheehan and RFK Jr. in there. So, granted, they're on different ends of the health spectrum, but I think they come together on wanting to bring out the truth on UFOs.
Hey, I think that kind of tells me that he probably knows what's going on.
Yeah. You know what? We have to figure out how to get the message to Mar-a-Lago to where he needs to make a statement on this, but I think it's really necessary. At this point of indecision coming out of Washington and the transition of our government, if our current administration is not making a stance on this, which I really personally wish they would. And if they don't, let's get someone else to make a statement on it. I love that idea, Alice. Thank you for bringing that forward. That's something we should put together as a petition or a change.org. Let's use it against him. Why not? To go ahead and get his attention. Ali, thank you for your question. Great points.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you. Ali, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's so exciting, but I'm getting more and more puzzled because from the middle of November, I started to think it was UAPs. But then the reports came from England, the UK. Then I leaned to that it was more like conventional drones. But now I'm leaning back to the UAP theory again, because this doesn't make sense. Because I worked in the beginning of the 90s with the last generation of night binocular techniques. Yeah, they were fantastic, and already then. And I know that they were working on how to if you have a strong light source against your night binoculars, it kind of blind it. But they were learning how to block the stronger signals, so you can detect what's beside the strongest light source.
Right.
And for me, I cannot understand how it's possible now. Now you have this technique on the aeroplanes, you have it on your ships, you have the everywhere this technique now. Why haven't they detected where they're going and where they're coming from? So unless you can answer that question or don't find the answer to it, from me, this is UAPs. And I think that the evidence has grown the last days here. That's the case.
Well, clearly the governments of NATO are paralyzed. United Kingdom's paralyzed. United States is paralyzed. But I just keep on scratching my head with what little hair I have left, saying, how can the U.S. be in so much fear not to take care of objects that are, violating our airspace? It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. There has to be another reason why they're not acting.
Absolutely.
And I think that, so, and of course, it's a big threat to national security when you have this kind of sizes drones, if you call them that, flying over your most restricted airspace. So I think it's bullshit when they say, first of all, that is not a threat to the national security. Of course it is.
Oh, it is 100%. I believe you, Ali. I'm there with you all the way.
Yeah. And congratulations, Thomas. I just want to say congratulations to all the new subscribers, and I just want to say hi to everybody in the audience and the listeners and the one on the back here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that reminds me, if you haven't subscribed yet, what the heck you waiting for? Would love to have you here as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. We'll listen to what you want to show, and we'll get to it. This is a viewer-funded, a viewer-backed program, and the only way you can go ahead, how can you help us? If you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. Hit that subscribe button, and also check your bell to make sure you're set up for all notifications. You only get a notification from me. Why? because either we're not going to have a show or we're going to have a show. And usually we put out our notice about 2 hours before every show. We generally have shows on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But lately we've been having shows on Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays. And if this continues, you'll have a show tomorrow on Tuesday. You'll have it on Wednesday. You'll have it on Thursday if this continues, because this is one of those topics where we will be here to cover it for you if you're enjoying this podcast. So do us a favor, hit that subscribe. More importantly, if you look at the numbers, would you look at that? We have 2,062 people watching the show right now and only 871 likes. What are we doing wrong, Mike?
Oh, we're not doing anything wrong.
No.
We are. No, not at all. So please, everyone, like and subscribe if you really
give us
are
a thumbs
enjoying
up,
the
and if
content.
not, give us a thumbs down. But tell us what to do wrong in the show. How many shows go out there and say, give us one or the other, we'll take it. And we'll do our best to get there. All right, we got 3 more people in the back with their hands up right now. We got great footage we're showing here. It's been coming off of Twitter tonight, showing these things flying over Hollywood. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention, didn't they have a vote on that NDA? And tomorrow there's supposed to be another meeting too, isn't there?
Well, yeah, they've had votes on the NDAA. That is gone. Well, National Defense Authorization Act, that's passed.
But they're having...
Right, but there are going to be some hearings tomorrow or some meetings going on in Washington, D.C. for members of the Senate and the House who are interested in what's going on. It's not like if this stuff is happening, it's a shame that our government, that our legislature has such a fractured relationship with our military that they have to have special meetings and hearings to get the answers versus them coming out and letting you know, saying, hey, we know this is going on. We don't know what it is. Or if it is something, they should be telling them ahead of time, you think?
Well, you'd have to ask Snooki, I guess, because while they were filming Jersey Shores, I guess they had a sighting there and everybody ran out on the patio and was filming it.
You got to consider the source. The source you got that from is not reputable at all. I think I'd say my dog's doo-doo is more reputable than that source. Just saying.
They look like the cast from Jersey Shores running back and forth to the patio with cameras and stuff.
Oh, cool. Absolutely, my friend. Also, we got Bruce Metten. Have a question, Bruce?
Yeah, hey, Thomas, calling from New Zealand. That's why it's daylight out here. Anyway, the reason I was calling in was having seen UFOs in my childhood, and I'm 69 years of age now, and I realize now, reflecting back, that what I saw were, and I'd still call them UFOs because that's what they really were. I would just want to throw something out there. We talk about these things not being transmedium because we understand what transmedium is. That doesn't for 1 second remove the possibility that they either have transmedium capabilities beyond our horizon. And secondly, if you think like a science fiction author, you could actually argue that given the technology that they're already displaying, there could be, and I just say could be, there could be some one or more giant mothercraft out there that are transmedium, that these things go back to every night,
right,
or before daylight hours, and then that thing disappears into the subterranean depths.
And the reason they're making them look like craft that we are familiar to humans is to make it less shocking. That is one of the 3 scenarios. 1, it's China. 2, it's the U.S. making it look like China to start World War III, or just China's trying to start World War III, or we've got the non-human intelligence putting something out that looks familiar to us, but it's not us.
100%.
Yeah. I resonate with where you're at. That's why I brought it up as one of the scenarios, and I'm glad you called in to go ahead and push that, because a lot of people will see it this way, and until we know what it is, we can't throw any of the scenarios out because it's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, and you only have to look what happened back in, you probably know better than I, but off the coast of LA, where there was sightings years ago, and where there's very recently, even military have acknowledged that there's some anomalies in the in the shelf there, the continental shelf, off Malibu, basically. And I talked to an old homeless guy who was actually sober, and I'm thinking back in 2006, and I lived in Orange County in those days, and this homeless guy was arguing with a couple of coppers, probably less than 100 meters from Malibu Jetty, and he was trying to explain to them that he had seen this UFO rising out of the water, and they were taking turns at laughing at him. I realize now that the guy probably did.
Yeah. I've got you, my friend. There are things under the ocean if you look down south, not from there, but also from the if you look at where the Isle of Guadalupe is, this is where Lou Elizondo from Disclosure says a lot of stuff took place. But if you look to the east of there and the southeast of there, there are structures on the bottom of the oceans that I'm bringing up right now live from Google Earth. These are over a mile wide. They go for miles straight in a straight line. There's 90-degree angles. I've searched the bottoms of the ocean worldwide, and there's nothing like this anywhere, Bruce. So, yes, there are ancient things out there that we haven't found yet. Sometimes we just have to look under the water because there's some amazing things being hidden.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Thomas.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in. James, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Dang, you caught me off guard. Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Can you come back around?
Absolutely. Justin, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for letting me talk. So I just kind of want to point out that I think this is definitely the United States government, 100%. The reason being the fact that they're not doing anything about it, and FBI is not commenting. They're saying they don't know what it is. I really believe that this is our stuff. That's all I had.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. Your thoughts, if you're
Yeah, I can tell you that we have an update for our audience. Right now, there are multiple drones that appear to be spraying something from them in South Jersey. State police and FBI were notified and are on the way. So, yeah, like we've been saying all along, they're here, they're doing something.
Right, and
no
don't
reason.
forget, they maybe see them spraying now, but these things have been seen hovering over the largest reservoir in the tri-state area, which basically supplies the drinking water to majority of the people in that area.
Correct, which could be a serious threat to public health and safety. And I don't know, the FBI and the state police are responding, but if these objects are contaminating in some way with whatever they're carrying, I don't know how much good that the authorities will be able to do at that point. It's like closing the barn door after the horse already left, isn't it, Thomas?
Yeah, it is, my friend.
This is getting to be more serious as this continues on unchecked.
Yeah. And it's something we will continue to cover here live every single night as these things go on, no matter what it takes. You know, there's a lot of people who go ahead and cover conflicts and things going on outside the United States, but I think the renewed focus and interest in Disclosure tonight, Mike, is we're going to continue to focus on this every night. Granted, when other things pop up in different areas of Disclosure, we're going to cover it, but the public has spoken. This is something they're very interested in, and you know, Mike, this is an area why we changed our name from UAP Disclosure Tonight in the past to Disclosure Tonight. So when these kind of large topics go on, that we can shift and cover it as necessary.
As a news organization, which is why we do our investigative work and we do our reporting on the news to bring the truth out to the public, especially when mainstream media and our government is not providing that information to the public that they richly deserve. The public has a right to know. That's why you and I do this, Thomas.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's part of our DNA at this point, Mike.
No, absolutely. And listen, somebody has to bring the truth out because people need to know, especially if they feel that they're being threatened by an unknown force or objects. They need to know.
Oh, absolutely. If we can, James Matheson in the back, he remembered what he wanted to bring up. James, go ahead. You need to unmute yourself.
Yes, please.
The same problem.
Oh, if it's China, then they've been preparing for this for a very, very, very long time because there's just so many drones. That feels unlikely. But it could be them. And the other thing I was going to say is that if the non-human intelligence are prepared to step in if there's a nuclear war, they may simulate what would happen if there were a nuclear war. I mean, the mass death, but just guided evolution by taking the people with the genetic traits they want.
But you know what? They didn't happen the last two times the United States dropped nuclear bombs. They haven't helped in famines. They haven't helped in genocides. So to think that they're going to step in and save ourselves from ourselves, I think, son, you're on your own.
Not likely.
Well, I mean, this version of humanity is destroying the planet. So they're not going to help us the way, you know, like they're going to come in like some benevolent force. But they may step in and try to guide us to our next level of evolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
James, listen. Simple answer is this. If you're talking about the NHI, they have demonstrated to us back in 1967 that they could shut our nukes down. So they don't need to have these drones flying all over the place when if they really felt threatened by our weapons, they could deactivate them at will. And they already have.
Yeah.
So that's not what's going on.
If the Chinese start a nuclear war, then they would come in and shut it down, and then they would wipe out humanity and then seed the world with the humans with the genetic traits they want to keep. Because I think we're meant to be stewards of the earth. You know what I mean? It's take care of the earth. But this version of humanity
James,
is doing.
We haven't been the stewards of the earth we should be. Let's just be honest.
Exactly. Yeah, no, we haven't.
Yeah.
We put money over the welfare of our people and the planet. So no, I think that they, I don't know. It's too complicated to know exactly what's going on, and it can't be just one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's epistemologically impossible to know until we know. It's all speculative and conjecture at this point.
True. Very much true, my friend. Thank you for your comments. Corporal Abe, you have your hand up, my friend.
Our friend of the channel, Liberty Wing UK, said in the chat that there are some UFOs, I believe, or drones spotted in a field near Lindenhall. And the second thing I wanted to say was the fact that there's something falling now from some of these drones requires a government response. And this administration has to do something, or it's
let me find
failing the people.
Liberty Wing, hey, you woke me up, LOL. Let's find the next one. He said 23 thing. Liberty's in the house. I'm half in the house. It's 3 a.m. The day before I first noticed them at Lakenheath, I saw a small plane drone looking thing that flew over my house. It came from the direction of the coast. The police asked me when I was streaming if I had seen anything, right? We talked about that. There's Andy going. We already got lots of water and extra food in. Liberty Wing, this channel's getting the growth. Thank you very much. Definitely not an Osprey. Lots of planes since this started have gone dark. The ones I saw didn't make a notice at all. This looks like, so I'm not seeing the one comment. Either way, you're muted yourself somehow, Abe.
It was in the last 5 or 10 minutes. I hope Liberty Wing comes to the back chat and says it, but I noticed it about that.
Yeah, but again, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning there. So his wife woke him up, or he woke up on this thing. Hopefully we can get him on a Saturday when it's not so late and everything. Thanks for your hand up, my friend. Justin, go ahead.
So just one more comment. People are talking about the power source for these, like how the batteries don't last long enough for them to fly this long. Do you guys think it's possible that they could be nuclear powered?
Based on the fires we've seen for the objects that have crashed, it looks like they've got a standard accelerant, let me see if I can find the videos on this again. This one here. They've got standard accelerants, meaning that,
a lot of smoke and fire. We're on the highway now in the distance. We see all these lights.
Kill the audio on this one. Let me just bring the 2 around so you can see it again. If it was, we could probably get Corporal Abe to talk about this from his experience. Corporal Abe, based on the videos I'm just about to bring up, document, here we go. Do you think we're looking
Field's on
at
fire.
something that could be nuclear
There was
based,
like a
or are we
craft that
dealing with
crashed out of the
more
sky. It was
traditional, if you want to call it, fuels for these craft?
In my opinion, in my experience, if that was anything nuclear, there would be a lot more devastation, destruction. No one would be able to get near it.
Right.
I think that's like burning metal, burning fuels. I see white smoke. I don't see black smoke.
We're
maybe
seeing
that's
white,
black
but you're
smoke
also
there.
seeing on this one, you can even see it's burning blue here.
Yeah, you can see burning blue. It gets darker there in the middle. It's, I wish it was daylight so we could get a better view. But if this was nuclear, this would be a catastrophe in this area.
Yeah. Yeah. Great points, my friend. Great points altogether. Wow, Mike, what a great show. What a great opportunity to hang out with friends and cover this. Is there anything else that's been going on Twitter? I haven't had a chance to check before we wrap this up. I also want to go ahead and check the community going over at Reddit, because they've had some really good things going on here. If there's breaking news, it's best to cover it if we can. No, nothing spectacular showing up, Mike. So anyway, what a great show. What a great opportunity. Did we lose Mike? No, he's here. Anyway, what a great opportunity to hang out with friends. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out for this episode of Disclosure tonight. If you haven't subscribed yet, help us get to 11,000 subs. We're less than 200 subs away, so do us a favor, folks. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here as a regular on Disclosure tonight. More importantly, if you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, we'll take one or the other. Please let us know what you think. It also helps YouTube to know that people are interested in the show and what we're doing here. Would you look at that? We have 1,041 likes. Thank you, everybody. That's a record. That's absolutely wonderful. The chat's going crazy. And on that note, people are understanding what time it is. And it's that time for me to go ahead and thank everybody for being part of the audience tonight. And the people who go ahead and say something in the chat, yeah, I'm going to call you out. So let me go ahead and do this. Let me find the music and get us there. Where's that? All right, people in the chat, I want to go ahead. Who the heck do we have out there? Let's thank all of our friends in the chat that have been part of this conversation tonight, because the chat is where it's at. We have such a great community. I want to thank 24 Baby Bull, Ambient Glass, Andy Core. You're all new. Thanks for coming out tonight. Austin Gilbert, Bolt, Born Free, Bradley Swaney, Brandon Newsom. You're all new. Thanks for coming in tonight. Brian Pemble, I know you, my friend. Bushlight, CCD, Cliff Ollinger, Commoner 64. You're all new. Thanks for coming in tonight, being part of the chat. Country Carpenter, Craig, you're new. Cyborg is new, as long as DVO. We got Dan Larev. Daryl's been around. Mr. Live Long and Prosper. Den Inside Something, Delta Echo, Dennis Benke, Do 5E. Drive B, Ed Stars, I'll call you Eddie, my friend. Eli McGinnis, Eric Roth and the Gurus has been here, along with Eric Richardson, Feigen Shao 87, Final Thing Firefly, Frank Einstein, GG Starlings. Thanks for coming in tonight, GG. Great picture, my dear lady. Let's say, would you look at that? Feigen Shao 87 just popped up, along with Eric Richardson. We also have Green Tea with Lemon. We got Griff. We got Immaculate Constellation Engineer. Ingrid Cold has been here. Good to see you. Good. James Matheson has been back, and he's in the chat. We got Jan, Jason Brown, J-Cat. Wow, such a list. Jen G. Jet has been here. Joey Stoner. John Mooner. John Smith. Julie Lazaroff. Kelly Broughton. Those piercing blue eyes, as always, Kelly. Kevin Long, King Bull, Laura Campbell. We missed you in the back tonight, Laura. Wow, I got to talk to you about one tonight. At least that's the name I gave it. Liberty Ring UK, Little Schism's been around, along with Lori G, Marcus and the Mandels, Michael, Modern Office Girl, Mr. Catfish 2100, Mr. Joey B, Ms. Cussout, Nat Parker's been here. What a great audience so far this evening. I am so blessed. Also want to go ahead and thank Paul Damon. Paula has been here, along with Peggy and her South Florida friends, Faze Will, Pilot Stu, Pink Witchy 50, President Evans. Raul's been around, along with Ralphie, Ray Gee, Reality Check VIP Ravenuts has been around along with Robert Coford. Rollins, keep it rolling, my friend. Rough Reddy, Sam Wallace. Sarah Maddie, thank you for being here. We got Scooter Sanders, Sergi Cardio has been around along with Shelly Montgomery, Silly Humans, Sprightly Sprites, Starchild, Stephen A., Stephen Forbes. Stephen has been around. Sorry, it's a long last name, Stephen. I also want to thank Strange Scary New England, Tasty Coke or Cake. Tasty Cake has been here. Terrence Wills, the Chromosome Cowboy, Thomas Jones, Tim Jackson, Tuzadu, Tom Denman, Trish Bliss has been here along with Veda Blaine, VMFE, Wesley Sissons. We had Yankee 58. Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Annie's been here. Secreto has been around. And top it off, we've got the person at the end by the name of Dead Cheese Spread. How about that? Now, in the back of the conversation, remember, folks, after the show is over, if you want to keep the conversation, the secret is follow the link to the back chat for viewer call-in, and the conversation can go on for many hours. For the people in the back that have been actually the people who have given us super chats tonight. Wow. Who am I talking about? I want to go ahead and thank. Who am I thanking? Oh, where's it at? I want to get back over here. Wrong window. Who gave us super chats tonight? Wow. We had one from Commoner 64, Daryl. We had another one from Matthias. Shelly Montgomery, Dennis Benke, Matthias again, Faze Will, Matthias again, Yellow Tommy Tanker, Crazy Horse, Rachel Osborne, Firefly, Matthias again has been a super chatter tonight. Holy cow! And then Shelly Montgomery again. Wow! I am so thankful for everybody. Yes, I am a thankful kind of guy. It's amazing what happens when you get old. Also for our friends who have our friends who have been in the back tonight. I want to thank Alice W. Thanks for joining us tonight, Alice.
Thank you, Thomas. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. And Corporal Abe, thanks for being here, my friend.
As always, happy holidays, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again. Let's kick some drone ass.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. Greg O'Brien, thanks for coming here, Greg.
Thomas, life is not about finding yourself, dude. It's about creating yourself, and you got one fucking hell of a creation here, man. Tits up, my brother.
Thank you for being a part of this, Greg. It wouldn't be the same without you. Also want to thank Hollywood Harold. Thanks for coming out tonight, Harold.
No problemo, Thomas. In fact, if people don't get in on the back chat, they're going to miss this breaking news that I found. We didn't get to share tonight.
Oh, we'll cover it tomorrow, though, my friend. Absolutely. Laura Campbell. Yes, we will be back tomorrow.
We will.
All right.
This is ongoing. We're going to be here.
Yeah. Laura, thanks for coming out, my girl. We'll talk in a second. Michael Sokoloff, appreciate you coming in.
You're welcome anytime, Thomas.
Oh, wow. We just got a super chat from Nikki
X1 for $3.33. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Nikki. Also want to thank Ms. Cutsout. Thanks for coming in tonight, Sandra.
Yeah, great show, Thomas. You're always on top of it, giving us the info that we crave, and I really appreciate it. I'm sure the audience does too. Thank you.
It's been phenomenal, to say the least. Also want to thank Sierra. Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you, Thomas. We appreciate what you and Mike do, man. It's a good show tonight.
And Ollie, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Thomas. And you're such a professional show host. Together. So this was a really action show tonight. I really loved it, really enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. And Mike Disclosure, thanks for coming in today, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. We have to cover this every day with everything that's been breaking. And it was my pleasure to be able to have our audience be aware of what's currently going on. And for the audience in the front chat, anybody who wants to join us in the back chat, you can use the link at the top of the chat, and that will connect you through Google Meet. People were asking if we're going to have the back chat on Discord. No, you can join through the link and come and join us in the back of the conversation. as it continues. Right, Thomas?
Absolutely. That's how it goes, Mike. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. We'll probably see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody. I'll come back now here. Thanks again. Bye-bye.